Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Figure It Out. So I'm kind of really thankful to Twitter for introducing me to amazing people. And so recently, I've had one person, Khushbu. I guess it was the third or fourth episode, and this I have another person from Twitter now on the show. So welcome Vaishnevi to Figure It Out. In
Thank
fact,
you
I
so
think you're the
much.
second youngest person I've had on this show.
Oh, glad to hear that. But okay, I'm happy to be around. But I just want to say that really happy to be here, and I've been watching Figure It Out, and just love it.
Yeah, thank you for that. And well, you've not been watching; you've been listening.
I've been listening, but I'm a good listener. So
Yeah, you have to be a good listener. I feel otherwise,
yeah, yeah,
my father used to say that even if you know that you know nine things out of 10 what the other person is talking, they'll say one person which actually benefits you in life. So it is
absolutely.
always
Yeah.
good to be a good listener. So good on that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do in life, in your work life, apart from being an amazing tweeter?
Okay, so I'm into PR and brand management. I feel it was just an Indian company. Now it's an MNC. So you
Right.
have to adapt yourself according to that. There are more
Yeah.
expectations. And again, I'm working with my mentor again. So I
Okay.
had a good experience with
That's
her.
a
She
that's a nice
referred
thing,
me.
right?
I
You
know,
like reunited. It's like
reunited, and also with my another colleague who is also, we've worked, the three of us have worked in the previous agency.
got it.
So this has been a good
So you're
opportunity.
here to
I
create chaos again.
again chaos again, and now we'll show the world what we are.
Oh,
The three of us, the
nice,
trio is back again.
nice, nice.
So
That's a
yeah,
good thing.
yeah,
So you said that you were in an MNC and you were not in an MNC before.
yeah,
Let's not give a term to what you were working in
absolutely,
before.
yeah.
But what is the major difference that you have? Like just one pro and one con.
One pro, which I would say, the privacy.
Okay.
Yeah,
In
there's
which the
privacy in the case of your work.
okay.
And I
That's a
think
pro in MNC.
in the pro, in the sense that when it comes to your work, there's, so here it's more, I think, you have to figure things out, but I think there are people who are very helpful. But the con would, I would say, that here there are more set of expectations. Here
Yeah.
you can't
You
go
can't screw
around.
up.
Yeah,
You
you
can't
can't
screw
screw
up.
up, and then that gives a lot of pressure, but not in a good way.
I think you're like
Yeah,
talking about corporate politics, but we'll get over that
we'll
later.
not
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah, maybe
Please,
we'll do another episode on that.
yeah, yeah.
No, like amazing. Yeah. So how did you get into PR?
So initially, okay, that's a big journey. I started my career with CA.
Okay.
I
From
wanted
CA
to,
to PR.
yeah, it's a
Wow.
very, very big journey. I would say I started with CA. I wanted to do with something in investment banking also later on,
Hmm.
but I could not clear CA examination. There's a lot of issues in that case. You have to
Yeah.
put so much effort. So I got so bored of that initially, and then
You get
I was
bored
like,
of
I
it.
want to do MBA. कि सब मेरा बाप की आरजू जो होते हैं, जो
हाँ,
MBA, so I was
हर
thinking
हर
of
माँ बाप का सपना रहता है.
exactly. So I wanted to do MBA in finance, but
हाँ,
then a very handsome and very smart professor walked in,
हाँ.
who started teaching us marketing back then. Because
Okay.
the first is very common, where we are into finance, we are into HR, and we're into marketing. There are different subjects in
Correct.
there, but that marketing, the way he was explaining stuff around, I saw that creativity in that.
Yeah.
And I was actually performing well with the brand strategies and marketing strategies, which I was presenting the class and the professor.
Marketing and advertising are very, I would say glamorous fields on the outside before you get in.
Yeah.
And then once you get in, you're like, shit, ये तो ऐसा expected नहीं था कि जितना, like, there's so much that goes behind the scenes into making one thing look beautiful that people don't actually understand, what all mehnat goes behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And, when you're actually implementing it, you're doing those behind the scenes things. And sometimes it's easy to lose that, अरे यार, ये expected नहीं था मेरे को, I wanted a little chill life.
Exactly. So we just see the glamour and luxury thing which goes around, but when you know how stressful it gets, it's the one thing which I notice is how you have to constantly change yourself and change your previous beliefs and the previous way of working, especially.
Right.
You have to update yourself.
You have to unlearn.
Exactly. Unlearn, relearn, and then again.
Keep repeating till you die.
Yeah.
Keep repeating till you die.
Yeah.
You're not saying that, go all out, do an amazing thing, but just stay consistent in what you're doing. You will get there eventually.
Exactly. My
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Perfect. And you touched upon these things where got to unlearn and everything. And how is so you obviously don't come across that concept on your own. right? So what
No.
happened that you learned to unlearn?
Okay, so I saw that, personally, I thought that changing yourself is a very stressful task for me. As a person, I'm saying.
I think there's a connotation
That
attached to it.
connotation or resistance to change is
लोग
something which,
बोलते हैं ना कि यार
yeah,
you change. I'm like
but
that's a natural thing. You will change in
exactly,
life. You can't,
exactly.
if you stay the same, you will get driven over.
Absolutely, and that I learned the hard way because I was a people pleaser initially. When
Everyone
you
is
are
these
known,
days.
I know, but
Even
as
I
an only
was.
child,
I am till a
yeah.
certain extent.
So I used to have this thing and this perception that I always have to be the good guy.
Okay.
Yeah, and in order to be that good guy, I was willing to do certain things. So that I have to unlearn.
Do I want to know what these certain things
No,
were?
not right now. But yeah.
That sounded like, I'll do whatever it takes.
I didn't want to be dirty here. It didn't sound that way, but yeah. No, but yeah, just to fit the crowd. I always
You
found
wanted to
that
be one of the crowd.
one of the crowd, I somehow felt that I could not resonate with other people. Like majority of crowd was saying. I wanted to be my own person initially, but somehow when you're working in a corporate, you have to be the team player.
Were you afraid of failure over there? Because if you fail, you will be the alone person standing.
Yeah, so much. Like
So what changed? Why are you now like, okay, even if I'm alone, I'm failing, it's okay. What changed? How did you get over there?
I think I think my agency helped me a lot. I feel what life doesn't teach you, your work will teach you that.
Okay.
So I, in this situation wherein I was just an executive, and because my manager left, so I took on more responsibilities.
Right.
In that case, I was very scared to fail. Though I took that additional responsibilities, I was also like, I should not fail. I could not afford to do it. I could not disappoint people. But then I was like, hold on. Why you have so many negative thoughts?
Exactly.
Why you're limiting yourself? Why you're judging yourself? Because this kind of negative thoughts bring about a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah.
I went through that self-doubt phase for a few months, but then I was like, I can't do it. I can't continue doing that. I had to change, otherwise I will be taken for a ride. And
you've got to own up.
I have to take my stand. I have to love
You've got
myself.
to own up. You do whatever you have to do, but you got to own up to stuff like, okay, this is what I have to do, regardless of what anyone else says.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you were, I think you were touching up on that topic where you were talking about self-doubt. You overcame these. Of late, I'm noticing these small videos you were posting on Twitter and Instagram about positivity and being a little practical in life. How did you come up about that? Like, what you want to talk a little bit about that? Like, what is the concept and what do you talk in it?
Yeah, so the concept is more about mental health first.
Okay.
Because somehow when you constantly doubting yourself, you invite anxiety in your life.
Right.
You start controlling things just so that you cannot afford to fail, or you cannot handle rejection.
Or you kind of box yourself into a place where you're comfortable that you won't fail.
Exactly. So I wanted to come out of that zone, and somehow recording these videos and sharing my story, and saying that okay, everyone goes through it. I just wanted to ensure that you're not the only person. I've also gone through it, and I was knowing that a lot of people could resonate and relate to it and were motivating me in the end. So I thought that I should come up with more such videos. Touch base upon all the things which I have gone through life, or I feel like someone who relates to it completely. The motto is you're not the only person going through the shit.
Which is somewhere down the line, even kind of not the only, where I started figure it out. Where I wanted people to figure it out that okay, yeah, dude, it's a relatable content. There are people who've gone through it. Probably that is why you are here, because you've gone through it. I would like, see, we never overcome things in our life, right? There's obviously going to be times when you relapse and there are more challenges up ahead in life.
Exactly.
But you are overcoming, you are making that effort. So yeah, I mean, if anyone can benefit from this conversation, that will be great.
Absolutely.
Right.
I wish they do.
Yeah, that's the hope, ultimate hope.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening, if they're benefiting, please comment. Yaar, acha lagta hai. So apart from these things, your work life, your mental health videos, what do you like doing? What helps you keep sane? Because I'm pretty sure that being in PR and branding is a lot of mehnat. Been there, so I know. What keeps you sane? What helps you maintain that work life balance?
I think one thing which I do is creative writing.
Okay.
It's just writing. When you have a tendency of overthinking a lot,
Yeah.
it's important to write down your thoughts.
Right.
So I will eventually start with the blog writing as well. I feel that
Interesting.
I feel that's my passion when
Right.
it comes to writing. When it's better way to express yourself.
Right.
Though writing, content writing, creative writing is the essence of PR, but I
Right.
feel that journaling your thoughts,
Yeah.
somehow understanding okay where you went wrong, or just trying to introspect things, you become a better communicator. So somehow, communicating your thoughts, your feelings is really important to me, and I feel this is what makes me sane. And the other thing which I've started doing is, enjoying my own company.
Right.
So I have started going to the restaurants or to the
Yeah, I'm
movies,
seeing
or
those girl who dines alone.
girl who loves dining alone. And so it's just around 50 I've completed, 50
Wow.
restaurants. So there are high-end restaurants, family restaurants, all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a big foodie, so
Yeah.
love to try different cuisines. So yeah, I somehow feel that when you enjoy your own company, you let go the power of relying on someone.
You know, I actually have one question over here. So
Yeah.
you say that you're enjoying your own company,
Yeah.
and at the second time you were saying that you want to start a blog and everything. So there's like one where you are isolating yourself when you're within yourself,
Yeah.
and there's one part where you're actually putting yourself out there.
Absolutely.
Right? So how do you ensure that, when you're putting yourself out there, you are going to get some negative thoughts, you're going to get some positive thoughts?
Yeah.
How do you have a plan to ensure that the negativity doesn't affect you?
Yeah, so first thing you said that isolating. So here it's not about isolating as such,
But being within your zone.
Being in my zone.
Isolating might be a wrong term.
But
Being
it's
within
just
your zone.
like enjoying your own
Being
company,
within
being
your zone.
able to be happy and
Yeah.
comfortable with both positive and negative thoughts.
Yeah.
So it's not about all positive.
Correct.
Then being comfortable, it's okay to have such negative thoughts. Okay, so when I'm putting myself out there,
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of criticism.
Yeah.
People, like even your videos, I'm sure they're lovely, but there will be some unhappy
मेरे को
souls.
engagement ही नहीं आता है. नहीं, positive shot negative आता ही नहीं. Half of the time it's like people's friends who are commenting. I'm like, ठीक है, ये तो positive ही बोलेगा. It's like, it's like my mom saying, अरे मेरा बेटा अच्छा दिखता है.
No, but I think we have to get used to the criticisms and feedback.
I am. I just want to know how you are planning to get.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna. At least I'm not even started right now, but I'm.
But I'm sure these thoughts will.
Those thoughts, because I feel that how people. One thing would be how people will be acceptable to the content out there. Because there are people who are doing that. Will it be a repetitive of what people are doing around? So there are such hindrances which I face. But somehow
so what's your objective putting it out there? Are you wanting it to resonate to 10 people, or are you wanting it to be like, okay, I'm just putting myself out there. I don't care about whether or not it gets engagement.
Okay, it's a mixture of both.
It's a mixture of both.
Yeah, somehow I just feel like I want to be want people to hear me. One thing, and it's not just because of my personal gains.
Why should they listen to you? It's a genuine question, right?
Yeah, because I somehow feel that my story may resonate with them.
Okay.
I feel that if I have changed,
एक दो को भी resonate हो जाता है बस.
No, if I can manage to change myself, I'm sure you can
others
do
can.
this. Others can.
If I can, why can't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way. But yeah.
Why not in a bad way also? Like, you be hardcore with people. I've stopped sympathizing with people.
Exactly.
Don't play victim with me.
Absolutely.
Don't play victim with me. You just, so whenever someone comes with a sad story, I'm like, bhai dekh, tere ko you just want a listening ear, or do you want a solution?
Exactly.
I will listen to the conversation in that zone then.
Yeah. No, because I see most of people are resistant to the advices and opinions. They just want to rent.
That's why I stopped. That's why I stopped.
My opinions don't matter, so it's better.
Exactly same. Like कि तुमको सुनना नहीं है, तुमको वही करना है वापस जाके.
Exactly.
तो मैं क्यों बोलूं?
मैं
क्यों बोलूं? Like, don't come to me then. Right? You tweet a lot, right?
I tweet a lot.
So how is what is it? Is it like just like, okay, time pass hai, yeah, it somewhere down the line helps you become who you are? Okay, so
somehow, so I found a platform where I could be myself.
Okay.
So that I feel like whatever thoughts I was putting it out, someone was maybe kind of attention seeker बोल सकते हो.
Why not? It's okay.
So but
attention सबको चाहिए. क्यों बुरी क्या बात है उसमें?
Absolutely.
No, who doesn't like attention? Maybe not from 10 people, but from that 2-3 people you do like.
That see, getting attention everybody likes, but then doing certain things to get attention is not.
Yeah, that can be another podcast episode as well.
So,
yeah, I am pretty sure I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that. I'm gonna get a lot of guys and girls running behind with me, like, you know, with the rack. I don't know. Off late, I've also started tweeting some controversial stuff.
Yeah, I saw a lot of.
And I'm like,
comments are like, I'm
like, fuck it, dude. I don't care.
Yeah,
because
you should not.
I don't. And which is, you know, coming back to you, like, you know, how has it helped you?
So it has helped me to express myself better. Somehow I felt that in case of other social media platforms, I see there are people are two-faced. I'm not again saying something controversial.
Twitter पे भी है.
नहीं मैं बोल ट्विटर पे भी है.
हाँ.
But थोड़े लोग ऐसे भी है जो खुद का
वो तो हर जगह पे है. Instagram पे भी है, Facebook पे भी है, सब. And
somehow the Twitter audience I could actually relate to that. They were not putting a happy face and showing something.
I think somewhere down the line, they just like most of them are just being sad.
Sad and melancholy.
जबरदस्ती का sad है वो लोग because they want again that thing that okay, I want to fit within the crowd.
Absolutely, I think
it's not about attention. It's just that I want to fit within the crowd. That okay, dude, even I'm sad.
No,
it's not just you, even I'm sad.
So maybe that would be the reason. But I didn't want the attention, but I wanted to just put my thoughts somewhere, and I thought it's my not even personal but a public diary, I would say.
Yeah, it's not a personal diary.
It's not at all personal and private.
Not at all.
But that actually is, you know, being on Twitter, somehow I feel I've opened myself and being more comfortable with what I am. I feel.
One question, since you're in that age zone, you know, it's my opinion, okay, I've seen that of late in sports at least, but a lot of people who tweet certain stuff, controversial stuff, where they've voiced their opinion at workplace, if the workplace doesn't align with those thoughts, it can get you into a lot of trouble. Now the context for that is there's a certain English cricketer, people would know that. I don't want to take names, might get sued or something, so that's why I don't want to take names. But he burst onto the scene. I think it was his second test match, and he played amazingly well. But people dug out his 10-year-old tweets about a little bit about that he doesn't like gays. And he got banned from cricket for a year or so. Okay. Like 10-year-old tweets. So do you think people should be slightly controlled in their thought process when they
should be cognizant of the things around? Which I'm now trying to.
You were unfiltered. You were like 100%. Abhi 50% filter hai. So somewhere down the line, yes, you do agree that
I do.
You have to be a little unfiltered. You can't be like devil may care attitude.
Absolutely, you have to be very specific to what you're saying, and it should be filtered. I would say not unfiltered or.
So you have to be a little mindful
and be how you're engaging with the content also of the other people.
So okay, enough about social media. Like, what do you plan to do in the future? Like, you know, how is your next steps planned? Because I'm sure that you have you're in the mid-20s, you have few more years where you can take a few bit risks and all in life in terms of your career choices. So how do you plan to do that?
Okay, it's a very, very difficult question because I'm still figuring it out, like what I want to do.
That was an unplanned plug-in of the name. Let me just be clear on that.
So I when I was doing MBA, I was very, very mindful of what I want to do. I either want to into advertising or brand management. PR is something which I did as an internship, and I really enjoyed doing it. But somehow I feel that there is more potential in other sectors as well.
Do you want to pursue them?
But I have to start with PR first. I have to master what PR is, and later on, I'm sure that PR also gives me that zone where I'll be working with multiple fields across. Like when it comes to marketing, brand management, you're already working with, and advertising. But
do you think you will have that flexibility post 30 years of age to switch fields?
Why not?
I'm just asking. A lot of people don't.
I know, but I think you should be open because I feel life is unpredictable, uncertain. Now, and if you're, what I've stopped doing is like whatever I planned 10 years ago, like being a CA or being into investment banking or anything, nothing happened that sort of. I found something more interesting which I could, update my skill sets. So maybe later on, I would love
You
to
never
change.
know.
You never know.
If an opportunity
I'm
knocks,
open
I'm
for
gonna take it.
everything.
Like, aja.
Aja. Like something. Sometimes you feel like, "Arey yaar, koi OTT
No, my
mein
question is, would you actively look out for it, or is it like, if you get an opportunity, you'll take it? That's the question.
Yeah, so that will depend. Actively, I'll try to, but not now. But maybe in the future. But if I
Do you
got the
think that will be
opportunity,
a two-step back in your CTC? Let's put it out bluntly.
yeah,
Because obviously, when you're not from that field,
you have to start again.
yeah,
You start from scratch.
So
Yeah.
how do you think you will be prepared to take that?
See, I'll give you one example, and it will be a long monologue because what happened that there were a lot of setbacks, and I said I was doing CA, and then I had to shift to PR and everything. So now at my age, if the other person who has started working at an early age is a senior to me, and somehow I'm earning less than even if we are in the same age. So that initially had affected me, but then eventually when I saw that what MBA added to my skill sets and how I was able to perform better than the other person as well. Somehow I feel that you have to start from scratch, and अगर काम अच्छा है तो पैसा नहीं मिलेगा, पैसा अच्छा है तो काम अच्छा नहीं होगा. So it's okay कि काम अच्छा है और पैसा कम मिले. Okay. Yeah. So you are okay with that? Yeah. So it can be like, you are more on that zone where I should enjoy my work. You should enjoy and be like कि हाँ पैसा आ जाएगा. If you're good at what you do, you are eventually going to earn. Exactly, and there are other passive ways of earning income. It's not just related to your salary. I think. Like restricting paid tweets. I hope, wish me for that. You haven't reached there yet. Not yet, यार. अब मेरे को आ गए थे 2-3 बार तो. क्या नहीं, वो तो आ गए थे वैसे वाले कि ये ट्वीट कर दो पैसे मिलेंगे. But Elon से the brands. वो वाला तो मैं I am not paying 600 to get a Twitter tick mark. It's 900 for 900. God, sorry, boss. Now I dude, that's like taking away 1/3 of my alcohol money from the month. I would invest in that or like some other expense. Yeah, you would go to restaurants and all. I would love to. Yeah. No. Cool. Nice conversation. Is there like anything one or two learnings that you've learned over a period of time that you'd like to tell the world? I hope the world is listening, but like the few people who've still queued in. Okay. The first would be understand what you are as a person. Sometimes what happens when you don't know who you are. That's actually so true. When understand you know who you're not, you tend to get manipulated by other people, which has happened like in the past. Yeah. It's one of my learnings where I understood, oh, I'm this. These are my qualities. Yeah. I'm this person. I can't get influenced easily or manipulated easily what other people want me to be like. Yeah. So that I still see people of my generation or like someone who's in their late 30s also who are not able to know what they are. Yeah. And somehow this is the biggest learning, that know what you are as a person. Right. The second would be somehow a life can be very overwhelming, stressful. Being an only child, I used to be in my proper safety nutshell. But now when you see that people are not as nice as you feel your parents or your friends are, you have to protect your mental health in the sense that it should not let it affect you, your morals or your beliefs or anything. Yeah. The other thing would be, I think the love advice would, which I would want to give is like people may be old school or they may not rely or may not relate to the modern day dating, but the person will find you. You don't have to chase anyone. Sometimes we do. It's a lonely journey out there, but don't chase anyone. Chin up, buttercup. Yep. Keep moving. Yeah. You'll get there eventually. Is that what you say? You'll get there. Yeah. हो जाएगा, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Nice thoughts. I love the first one, honestly. Not that I hated the other one, but like the first one is I'm just saying. I just want to put it on record that I actually love that. Understand the person you are. That is so true. You if you know you should absolutely know your strengths and weaknesses, because then only it's not about. Then only you know where you can improve and where you are excelling at. So you can cover the whole spectrum. Exactly, and it's life is all about learnings
Yeah,
and lessons.
absolutely.
You have
You
to
keep
just
learning.
introspect that what situation has come and what you have to learn from
Yeah,
it.
no, pretty cool. Yeah. So thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the tea.
I loved it. Nice one.
That wasn't a paid thing, but yeah. But like, okay.
I was feeling very drowsy. You just woken up all
I
my
offered you
senses.
something else also, but you refused that.
No, no.
So cool. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Yeah, and stay tuned for more episodes. Take care. Cheers.